See, welcome you all. It's 11 now. First, good morning to everybody. And today's agenda, the second session, today's second session agenda. Now on board, you can see. Are you able to see the agenda? Please. Are you
Yes,
able
sir.
to see the agenda?
Yes, sir. Here.
Agenda for interaction, misconducts, immediate suspension pending enquiry. That is a second topic that we are going to see today. That topic, Showcause, Chargesheet. What is Showcause notice? What is Chargesheet? How to issue the Showcause notice and Chargesheet? Fourth one, time to reply by delinquent, how much time you can take? And if he writes letter, what to do? Fifth one, drafting examples. Sixth one, enquiry proceedings. What are all the preliminary steps? See, these are all the topics that we are going to see today. Are you all clear? Are you able to see the PPT shown to you? There are 6 points. Please answer me. I am not able to hear you. Are you able to visualize the PPT?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So the first point is misconduct. So all misconduct, or see the PPT you can see, all misconducts are as per law is listed in the model standing order. Misconduct as per law means model standing order, that is under the standing act called standing order. The standing order act and rules specify in that you are given the misconduct. So we have already seen in the last program what is standing order and what are the misconducts that are listed in the standing order, what is model standing order. We have already seen in the last program what is model standing order, what is certified standing order. Model standing order is nothing but the standing order as drafted by the concerned state government. It's a model in that all the misconducts that are punishable are listed in that model standing order. See, for example, in Tamil Nadu, the Tamil Nadu government has released a model standing order applicable to industries and shop and establishments, including hospitals and service industries like logistics company. So the government of Tamil Nadu has released a model standing order applicable to the industries in that the misconducts are mentioned. So suppose if you do not have your certified standing order, you are supposed to follow the model standing order. Even though the act says that we have to go for certified standing order within 6 months of operations and the employment of people, most of the companies do not have their own certified standing order. Most of the companies do not have their own certified standing order. Most of the companies are even MNCs or some companies which are as old as 20, 30 years are also following only the model standing order. And in such case, the employee resists and gives a reply when he is committing a misconduct that the company do not have their own model standing order like that. So model standing order is followed by all companies wherein certified standing order is not there. What is the difference between model standing order and certified standing order? Model standing order is by
Government, state government.
Respective state government. Certified standing order, you are making it on your own with the consent of your representatives or the employees and taking it before the labor department, and a tripartite agreement of standing order is arrived at, and the labor department joint commissioner or deputy commissioner signs the standing order apart from both the parties. That is representative of the management, representative of the workmen, and the ultimate person is before the joint commissioner or deputy commissioner. So this is the, in the certificate standing order, the list of misconduct may be much more than the model standing order. Model standing order, you have some 27. And if you wanted to see the model standing order of the Tamil Nadu government, it is here, and I can send to the participants also. See, under this, under class number 16, under class number 16, there are misconduct mentioned under class number 16, acts and omissions constituting misconduct. See, I am showing you on the board itself. Acts and omissions constituting misconduct. These are all the misconducts mentioned in the model standing order. See, there are 27 in the first page, some 3 are there. In page 16 and 17, I'm showing now. Page 15, 3 and 16 and 17. From 5 to 25 is there. If you want, I can read out some of it in Tamil and also tell you in English quickly to recapitulate what we have discussed already. அடிக்கடி வழக்கமாக வேலைக்கு வர இயலாமை, that is absent. அடிக்கடி வழக்கமாய் வேலைக்கு ஆஜராகாமல் வர இயலாமை. வேலைக்கு ஆஜராகாமல் வர இயலாமை means absenting without any information. Absenting without any information. Frequent absence. It is habitual absent. That is, he is absenting continuously or habitually absent every month, 3 days, 4 days, like that, without information. See, a detailed discussion is required on this particular point of absenteeism. In almost all the industries, the major issue with regard to the misconduct is absenteeism and late coming. Absenteeism in the model standing order, if somebody is continuously absent for more than 10 days, it is considered as absenteeism, or often he is taking leave without permission and information, it is also called absenteeism. Here, the employee is having different types of leaves in many companies. But almost all the industries, the privileged leave or PL and the annual leave is there. In all the industries, PL and the annual leave is there. For every 20 days or 1 day or something more than that also if agreed. For every 20 days, 20 working days, 1 day around, it may come around 12 to 13 days and here it is coming regularly. So every 20 days, 1 day is the privilege PL given to the employees. Apart from that, some companies are giving CL and SL also. In some companies, they give special leave also. In some MNCs, they give special leave also. CL, SL, PL, special leave. But here, one important point you must note is, any leave should be authorized and approved by the immediate supervisor or the manager concerned. Any leave should be authorized and approved by the immediate supervisor or manager concerned. Whether it is CL, PL, SL, it has to be approved by the concerned authority. Just because you have CL, you cannot take leave without permission. So if you take without permission, it is absent. See, there are different terminology used by companies. What is loss of pay? See, you have CL, PL. If you take CL, it is marked as CL and CL is deducted. If you take PL up to 3 days or more, the PL is deducted. And if you take some SL of 3 days or 2 days, SL is deducted. Suppose you leave, you exhausted all the categories of leave. CL is over, PL is over, SL is over. Still, you wanted to take leave. And you are applying for leave. He is permitting the leave. Who is permitting? The supervisor is permitting the leave. In case somebody is applying for leave and the supervisor is permitting the leave or the manager is authorizing the leave, wherein the concerned employee do not have CL, SLPL, yes, exhausted, swallowed all the leave in the year. Still, the manager is granting him leave. There are some occasions like that in many companies. Such a leave is called LOP, loss of pay. Loss of pay leave is not a misconduct. Why? Loss of pay leave is not a misconduct. Loss of pay leave is not a misconduct. So some people are marking it as misconduct. In some companies, while they are declaring the leave, they say loss of pay leave also misconduct. See, you can show how many days CL, PL, SL, and LOP has gone, but this misconduct is restricted to only absence. So you cannot take the authorized leave as misconduct. Am I clear? So there is a difference between loss of pay and absence. Loss of pay means salary is cut, but the leave is approved. Simply speaking, salary is cut, this leave is approved by the higher authority. In case of absence, even though he has got leave, if he is asked to come for duty, he has to come for duty on reasonable grounds. Suppose somebody is applying CL, but the manager is not authorizing it, it means it is absence. Even though a person is having leave, please note that it is not a right to demand. Why it is not a right to demand? Because if somebody is going on leave, it is not one person is going on leave on a day. In a department, some 20 are there. If 10 suddenly go on leave, how it is possible for the manager to approve such leave? So it is not practically possible. So it is the prerogative of the department head to approve or not. If he is not approving the leave, it is absent only, even though the employee is leaving CL, PL, and SL. Am I clear? So the leave is absenteeism should not be habitual. If it is habitual, it is a serious misconduct. And if continuous 10 days also is an absenteeism, or quite often a person is absent from duty. That is January few days, February few days, totally if it comes to exceed 10 days, then also it is absenteeism. So absenteeism is one of the serious misconducts. வழக்கமாக அடிக்கடி வேலைக்கு நேரம் கழித்து ஆஜராவது, delayed, late coming. So in some companies, they restrict the late coming to 3 days, 5 days, like that, with the number of hours also. So we have seen all these things already in the past, but I am explaining you what are the misconducts. So all these misconducts, drunken while on duty, sleeping while on duty, smoking at the place where you are not supposed to, and then some criminal offense for it you are, some criminal offense for which you are convicted by court of law. Just because FIR is made, it doesn't mean that it is a misconduct and you should be given notice. But only if you are convicted by the court for some criminal acts and put it to bar or so, then only it's a serious misconduct. All these misconducts around 27 misconducts are enumerated, are listed in the model standing order, including safety, violation of safety instructions. Some people may not wear safety shoe and come inside the plant. Some may not wear helmet at all, where helmet is supposed to be wear. And some may leave the forklift neutral and then get out and go. You cannot leave the fuel, you have to switch off while you are getting down from the forklift. See, these are all the unsafe acts. Any unsafe act is a serious misconduct. Sleeping while on duty is not only misconduct under the class sleeping while on duty, it is also a misconduct under safety class. You can mention both the classes for such misconduct. So all these misconducts we have seen, and it is only in the model standing order. 27 misconducts are mentioned in the model standing order. In the certificate standing order, it is between the workman and the management, and the signing authority, labor department, may ignore some standing order classes, even though both the parties agrees, if it is not conducive or it cannot be accepted by him under the law. So if we suppose something is against the constitution, he won't permit, and something is not viable at all, he won't permit. So you cannot just list out whatever you want, but you can list out whatever you say, but ultimate approval is for certificate standing order with the labor department. And this is what we have seen with regard to the misconduct. So see, okay, misconduct, we have seen some misconduct. Now, how serious it is, how serious it is not, what to do if it is a very serious misconduct. Some other misconducts, you can warn, you can advise, you can severely warn. In some other misconducts, suppose he is not wearing helmet, it is a first time occasion, you can call him and tell him, you can warn him, or you can advise him that it is against the safety and you cannot ignore it, and you have to wear a helmet. In short, if you do like this, it will be very serious. Like that, you can issue an advisory letter. But there are certain misconducts which are very serious misconducts, and in such cases, suspension pending inquiry to be ordered. In such cases, suspension pending inquiry to be ordered. So now we are coming to the second topic of today: immediate suspension pending inquiry. We have seen what are the different misconducts in the first topic, and how it is with regard to the model standing order and the certificate standing order. Now we are going to see suspension pending inquiry. What are all the cases in which you can suspend somebody pending inquiry? Suspension pending inquiry means he is suspended temporarily till the completion of the investigation and then further inquiry, domestic inquiry. Why he should be suspended? What are the reasons for suspension pending inquiry? In what cases we can suspend the pending inquiry? Am I audible to all? Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Immediate suspension pending inquiry. You cannot suspend just like all the cases. But in my practical experience, I have seen many companies, I have seen many companies just like that suspending whenever there is a misconduct, without going into the seriousness whether it is to be, whether they have to be suspended or not. Many companies it happens. For example, if somebody is absent from duty for 3 months, first you are sending some notice, he is not responding. Second, you are sending a warning letter, he is not responding. Third, you are sending a Showcause notice, he is not responding. Then it doesn't mean that you should suspend him. He has not come. He is absent. He is not receiving salary. And he is not a disturbance to others. He is a disturbance to himself. He is not going to create any disturbance among the people employed there. So in such cases, what is the necessity for suspension? You can issue a Showcause notice and ask him for explanation. Suppose if you issue a suspension, why you should not issue a suspension from day one of the suspension? From day one of the suspension, you have to give subsistence allowance, because the employer-employee relationship is temporarily only suspended. He has not resigned, he has not dismissed him. He was asked not to come for duty. Who says not to come for duty? The management says, tells him in writing not to come for duty. It is suspension. So when the management says in not to come for duty, it is important for the management as per law to pay the subsistence allowance. So if somebody is absent already, why are you paying subsistence allowance and conducting an inquiry? You need not. Like that, some late coming. Already he is not coming regularly, and he is coming late. And if it is a late coming, you can conduct inquiry by issuing Showcause notice. There's no need for suspending it. So there are some occasions a verbal argument about production between the supervisor and a worker who is good at times and who has not done any mischievous acts in the past. In such case, because of some emotion or some other reasons, thinking that he is right, he might have argued with the department in charge, that is the supervisor or the team leader. It doesn't mean that immediately you have to suspend him. In which cases you have to suspend him? In which cases you have to suspend him? Sleeping while on duty. See, normally we sleep in night, but a person coming in night shift against nature, because he is used to come in night shift, he is coming and working at times due to tiredness, or he is unwell, or if he has completed his expected work within the expected time and there is still a time, he just went and slept. He has not disturbed anybody, but it is again a serious misconduct. Sleeping while on duty is against safety also, but it doesn't mean that he should be suspended. In which cases they should be suspended? There are some cases where immediate suspension is required. Assault. Beaten the supervisor is an assault. Beaten the co-worker, it is an assault. Theft, sabotage activity. Sabotage act, damage the machines and tools intentionally. In such cases, if you allow him further, he will disturb the whole industry, the decorum, the culture, the discipline will be completely under ransom if he comes inside, because he may talk about it and confuse other employees also. He may instigate other employees also. So, and also he may try to get support for his activities. He may say that I am not involved in theft, they were unnecessarily pointed out me, and it is because of one of the securities, he only told me like that. Now he may talk something, or he may try to threaten the complainant. That is also one of the basic message that you must keep in mind. In any cases of misconduct, if it is a serious misconduct, the workman won't keep quiet if he is suspended. He may try to influence the person who has given complaint, or he may even threaten the person. The witness may become hostile sometimes, or he may even resign from the organization. It's very difficult in this situation. So the situations warrants. You have to decide in which situation we have to suspend, and in which situations you have to just give a Showcause notice. To suspension pending inquiry. In case of suspension pending inquiry, we have seen that a suspension letter is issued immediately. See, preferably the suspension letter to be issued at the end of the shift or while he enters, as far as possible. That is, suppose the incident happens around 1:45, an argument wherein he has beaten one of the employee or his supervisor or team leader. In such cases, immediate suspension is required. Don't do it immediately, and try to see that he is going to the machine, make everything ready, and then exactly while 2 o'clock or 1:45, before he is leaving, you call him to the HR department along with the manager concerned, whoever is available, and issue the letter of suspension or issue the letter of suspension on the gate. There are companies where it is also valid. The head HR or HR department person or administrative person and the department that sits in the gate, and issue the suspension letter pending inquiry. The suspension letter need not be in a detailed way like a Showcause notice. It's enough you just say that you are suspended pending inquiry from today onwards due to a severe indisciplinary activity in which you have involved. You can say sabotage or something, whatever that, you can narrate that and say that with immediate effect. You can put the date from today, so and so, closing hours, you are suspended. Like that, one or two sentences are enough. You need not narrate in detail. You need not say who is the complainant. You did not say the sections and all. You can say that you are suspended pending inquiry from today onwards for the serious misconduct alleged against you. Like that. It's enough. Okay. You are suspending somebody pending inquiry. Do you think that he may just receive the letter? He may not. He may refuse. Or he may say that I will come back to you after consulting union, I will take. Or he may send it by speed post or registered post, I won't take. In such cases, or he may write with objection, I am taking. He is allowed. He can take with objection, but you can put that also as a misconduct while discussing the inquiry. So you can refuse to take, you can take with objection, you can say, you can take it. You can take it. Sorry, it's power of. You can take the letter with objection. You can issue, if you raise objection, you can accept it. And normally he may say that he will consult and get back to you, or he may. Some people may say that send it by post. So if he says send it by post, do not allow him the next day. You can, if your standing order says that it can be exhibited in the notice, if you send it by post and it is not accepted by him, then what to do? See, he says you send it by post. From yesterday, don't allow him at all. You can stop him and say him that it is already sent to you. And you did not wait for acknowledgement and all. Suppose if it is coming back, do not open it, keep it in the file itself. Suppose if you are sending to his current address, also. Hello? Am I audible?
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Dr. Gupta here. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Dr. Gupta joined over here.
Also, don't worry.
Sorry, sir, for the class late.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It is in the beginning only. We have just started. Don't worry. Much of points are not lost.
Okay, sir. Fine.
Coming back to suspension. See, if you issue a suspension order, which is very brief, in 2 lines or 3 lines, the problem will be, he may not take the letter. He may refuse. 1. Point number 2, he may say that send by registered post or speed posted. You have to send it to his permanent address and also to his current address. Both the letters he may not receive also sometimes. He may refuse to receive. You have to follow the track record of the speed post or registered post by mail and see whether it is dispatched. So suspension pending inquiry letter, if it comes back, he is not receiving. Or on the across the table he refuses. He objects and takes it. There are
Sir,
hello.
sir, one second, sir. Can you please come out with the first point? Sir, can you please repeat the first point?
You want me to come to the first point of suspension? Suspension
Yes, sir.
pending
Yes,
inquiry,
sir. Yes, sir.
first topic. See, you want me to talk about first topic or suspension pending inquiry?
No. Suspension pending
See,
inquiry.
I will tell you. Suspension pending inquiry, in normal cases, it is not to be done, but some industries are doing it also in all the cases. In case of absenteeism or late coming or sleeping while on duty, it is individual mistake and it's not a very serious mistake affecting the entire company and other people, even though the general discipline is spoiled. In such cases, and also it is all based on the document evidence, like CCTV footage or track record, that is your attendance record, because you are having the attendance, not manual attendance, so biometric attendance, so attendance record, and also the Form 25 which you are taking for attendance. In that, the evidences are there. So in case of such absence, in case of loss of pay, you cannot do it because loss of pay is approved. In case of absence, you can issue a letter. In case of sleeping while on duty, you can issue a letter. That is all a Showcause notice only, not a suspension letter. Suspension letter is issued generally for serious misconduct. Like, see, in case of suspension letter, the relationship is temporarily cut between the employer and employee, and it is not a total dismissal or he is going out permanently. It is only till the inquiry is over, he is kept in abeyance and the relationship is cut till such time only. However, he is paid subsistence allowance. Subsistence allowance to be paid to the employee as per Subsistence Allowance Act. There is a specific act called Subsistence Allowance Act. In that Subsistence Allowance Act, it is also mentioned in the certificate standing order or the model standing order about subsistence allowance. See, and also now we have a separate act also. In case if you suspend somebody, you have to pay him subsistence allowance till the completion of the inquiry. But if you are making it as a punishment, no need. But if it is a temporary suspension pending inquiry, you have to pay him subsistence allowance. I also told you, in the case of theft, sabotage, or beating the co-worker, or the supervisor or manager, it is a very serious misconduct. In such cases, garrow, stay in strike. In such cases, you have to suspend them because if you allow them for duty, they may try to threaten the witness, or they may try to make them hostile, or he may instigate others to talk against the company, or he may ask the witness not to give the witness in the way in which he has prepared. See, he is giving the witness document and then he has to come and tell before the inquiry officer. In such case, you may even change it if he is allowed inside. So generally, suspension pending inquiry, such inquiries are to be done very carefully. And he is first receiving the for such suspension, you are writing a letter which can be of 2-3 sentences only. This date you are suspended for this reason. Further actions will follow. Further action follows, or further action will be followed by this letter. You didn't ask him any explanation for suspension pending inquiry. Just issue a suspension pending inquiry. You need not ask any explanation for it. While issuing the suspension pending inquiry, he may say, I won't receive. He may say, I am receiving with objection. He may say, I will consult and get back to you. You may say, send it by post. Why you are giving now? But if you put a date on that, saying that from this date you are suspended, don't allow him from the next day and ask him to get lost from the next day. You should not be permitted inside the plant the next day. So these are all the things with regard to suspension pending inquiry. And in case of suspension pending inquiry, every month you have to give him subsistence allowance. Am I clear now? I have repeated what I said.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And this is with regard to the subsistence allowance and the suspension pending inquiry and all. Next one. So suspension is over, and he is recorded suspension in the attendance, and he is not allowed inside the factory. Next one is what? Once a person is suspended, there are occasions where we have seen no need for suspension. He can be warned or severely warned or advised. If it is something more than that, like sleeping while on duty, can you just warn him and in case of sleeping while on duty, you cannot. See, sleeping while on duty is a serious misconduct. It is one of the serious misconducts. Why? Because he is leaving the work spot, he has not informed the supervisor, he went somewhere and slept. In such cases, while the shift is over, he may not know at all. If there is any emergency, all others may get lost and he may lie down there, resulting in death also. So it is a very, very, very serious misconduct, punishable under law. So in such cases, what you have to do in such cases, in such case of absenteeism or late coming or this or any other misconduct wherein suspension pending inquiry is not needed, explicitly not needed, in such cases, what you have to do? You have to issue Showcause notice. Before issuing Showcause notice, one most important thing in case of misconduct you have to do is calling the workman and calling the complainant, sitting with them along with the manager of the department and doing a preliminary inquiry. Doing a preliminary inquiry. Preliminary inquiry is not actual inquiry. It is not a quasi judicial inquiry. I will come back to you about the term quasi judicial inquiry. Listen to me. Preliminary inquiry is not final. It is only suspension pending inquiry. We have seen preliminary inquiry or investigation. You can call also preliminary inquiry and investigation. Why preliminary inquiry is necessary? Why preliminary inquiry is necessary? You can see the board, read the board. Are you able to read the board? Please answer.
Yes,
me.
sir.
Are you able to read the board?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good, very good. So I have given 8 points in there about the preliminary inquiry investigation. First point is to decide about taking or dropping actions. To decide about taking or dropping actions. See, in the preliminary inquiry, both the people are coming and the complainant is telling something, you are listening to it, and in orally, and also the other person is telling, that is the affected person or delinquent or alleged misconduct on somebody, he is telling, or some people are also coming and telling, few people are coming who have seen that, and all are allowed to talk, and they are talking, and at the you are concluding with that there is no prima facie case, or it is not to be taken, you can just warn him and let off. In such case, it is called dropping action. So you need not take action at all. Such may be the thing that he would have gone twice from the work spot, telling the co-worker there, and would have come after 5 minutes, and the supervisor might have seen that he is missing, and he would have made a complaint. And there are some occasions like this, wherein the supervisor may be giving a complaint, or there may be some small argument about the productivity or safety between the supervisor and the workman, and there is a misunderstanding. Out of misunderstanding, he would have raised his voice because of his 20 years of experience and the engineer of 20, the age of 30. See, there's an engineer who finished his engineering graduation and got well trained, and then coming after 5 years of experience in the factory. There is a workman working on the machine for the last 30 years, and this man is also equally skilled and caliber. The workman is equally, why equally? Sometimes he may even tell him some suggestions how to go about it to the engineer because of his experience. Such cases, at one point of time about the work itself, there may be some argument, and the argument may result in some shouting. And this is also a misconduct. In such case, the supervisor may not like it. He may try to bring it to the notice of the higher up. If the higher up says, okay, give a complaint, I will take it up to HR, then it may come to HR. In such cases, HR and the top management should decide whether to take up the case or not. That is the manager of the department. The team leader may complain. That is the manager. The manager and the HR must discuss with the team leader and then tell both of them, the team leader, that yes, he has done it out of interest. He has done it. He has raised his voice. It's correct that like that. You have to compromise and then drop the actions. And there are some cases where you have to certainly take action. Habitual late coming. The question now is, he may say that I am not asked that, I do not know, I have some family problem and all. That is the problem now with regard to absenteeism is when you call you have the record. That is, you have biometric attendance, which shows right from March 2021 to July 2021, he didn't stand up at all. Is it not the gravity of the misconduct is very serious? A person not at all available for the last 3 months. Can you just walk out from your house saying that I am going to Himalaya for next time, even without informing? Can you go to Himalayas and come back and tell your wife that I was away for 1 month from house? I don't want to inform you. Separation, that's all. So similarly, see, you cannot just like that do whatever you want, either at home or public or at plant. There's a system, there's a rule, there's a standing order. Suppose if you are absenting yourself for 3 months, what is it? And you cannot say, no, I am not called. The supervisor is not random. See, here is the role of the supervisor. If somebody is not if somebody is not coming for duty, even in 1 day without informing you, either by telephone or by letter or a day before, he is not informed at all. He is in X mission. The next day he comes and just operates the mission. Are you asking that gentleman, that worker, whether why he has not come yesterday? What is the reason? You can politely ask him, but are we asking? It is the duty of the team leader and supervisor, even a single day absent, to be followed by him. If you see the workman the next day, he has not informed the previous day, you have to go and ask him, what is the problem for you? Is there any difficulty? Any issues for you? This is the question that the supervisor should definitely ask. Suppose if he is not coming at all for the last 3-4 days, you may have his mobile number. You can contact him and ask him. In some companies, they have welfare officers. In some companies, as per statutory, they must have welfare officer. And if somebody is quite frequently, habitually absent, the welfare officer goes and visits the house, meets the people in the house, parents or wife or children there. See, it's all happening in industry. Suppose somebody is chronic absent, then can you keep quiet? He is your worker, a productivity man. You must be concerned about him. I already told you, you should be concerned about his health. You should be concerned about his whereabouts. You should be concerned about his family. See, it's a big family. Industry is a big family. All the employees are working there, one to achieve the target productivity and also to grow well along with the company. So unless there is a mutual understanding between the management and the workmen through the leaders, and that is through the team leaders who are available, and the first person is to meet the employee is not the GM or the directors, is the team leader. The team leader or the supervisor must ask, and if he is chronically absent, he has to phone and ask him, and he may say something. Now there's a famous reason. Suppose if he is absent from March today, what he will say? Nowadays, suppose he is absenting from March till June. What is the claim that he will make? In this
Due to corona. Due to corona.
Exactly. Good. Due to corona. So he may say that no COVID. Yesterday I had some 3-4 calls about COVID issues from different companies. Yesterday continuously had calls and there were a lot of discussions about the COVID issue. That is people absenting. And last year, to be precise with you, in the same month, around in a particular region, I have attended around 36 cases, and all of them claimed that their area is like this, and some relative and father relations, and I went to shop and I cannot move, a red area, cantonment area, so many reasons. It is a shocking news that one employee who is negative issued a letter as positive. So somehow, see how dangerous it is. He was absent when he questioned, after a long time he came and issued it. And see, a lot of issues like that, excuses. So if somebody is absent continuously, you have to call him and ask him what are the reasons. If it is acceptable, you have to tell him that. Suppose if he says he is ill health, he is not well. Suppose if he says, he is not saying COVID or other thing. He is saying, I am not well, so I am not able to come. My wife is not well. I have to take care of her. She is in the family way and she is not well. I have to take to hospital. I have to be with her. Nobody is there to take care of me. See, there may be some genuine reasons also. So you have to see what are the reasons that he is telling. So the preliminary inquiry, before the preliminary inquiry itself, in case of absence and leave, such activities should take place. So in case of sleeping while on duty, you are calling the concerned person and the complaint is received. Do you decide about taking or dropping action? Here you have to take necessarily in action. Don't say a warning or severe warning or advisory letter for sleeping. It is such a serious misconduct. Some people doesn't know about it. Because, see, why are you coming for surprise visit on Sunday or night shifts? To ensure that somebody is not sleeping or somebody is not abandoning or somebody is stopping the work and keeping idle. Is it all happening? So, sleeping while on duty is a serious misconduct. In one of the industries, the boy left the operations and went to restroom and he was sleeping in the loft. I don't know how he climbed on the loft and sleeping in the loft. Nobody knows it. Around 6 o'clock, the supervisor, some other department came to the restroom just and saw he is sleeping and he was missing from the work spot for 4 hours. See, imagine, suppose he falls down from there while sleeping from the loft, what will happen? It may result in a big issue, a big complaint. So sleeping while on duty, immediately you call in the next moment and next day, if suppose the shift is over, you let him up, shift the supervisor may inquire, the HR department may get the complaint. Once he gets the complaint about sleeping while on duty, he has to inquire and he is confirming now and then telling the workman that this is what is, it's not correct. While talking to him, he may accept and give a letter in writing, or he may not give a letter in writing, he may accept the misconduct. Even if he accepts the misconduct, you can tell him that since a complaint has come, a formal inquiry will be there. So, in case of sleeping while on duty, see the preliminary investigation, decide about taking or dropping action. You have to take action. In some cases, you have to drop, you can drop actions to ascertain the grounds for allegations. Yes, you have ascertained the grounds for allegation. It's a sleeping while on duty. See, altogether it may not be baseless. It may not be baseless. Some information may be there. Suppose if he has slept for 20 minutes, the supervisor might have written as he was sleeping while on duty for half an hour. I have not seen him at the work spot at all for 45 minutes. It is not how much time. It may be 30 or 40, 45. So altogether it may not be baseless. He may say so many things. He has done this, that and all. He shouted at me while arguing like this, that and all. Some may be a fact, some may be you might have forgotten and added something, or maybe it may be it may not be actual fact. You may fabricate something right also. It's not an issue. Whether the incident has happened or not, that is the most important thing. So gather the facts and what was the act. See, you just gather the fact and what has happened. What is the act? What is the misconduct that you arrive at? Those involved and witnessed. You must have the names of the complainant. There may be more than one complainant. Names of the complainant, names of the people who have seen. If suppose there are 4 people, 2 have the complainants and 2 have witnessed it. So 4 people are giving the complaint in writing. And those involved to be ascertained, that is, who have done the misconduct. In case of garrow, in case of strange strike, in case of assault, it may not be one person. Some 3-4 may be marched on him or jumped on him, and some might have caught hold of his hand. See, it's all happened. You may not know. In one of the industries in Coimbatore, the head of HR, I know him personally. He knows very well that the people are running to him to attack him, a ransom at the plant. But despite that, he wanted to, he has asked his people to move out. He was standing alone and he is trying to argue with him, fight with him, and said that what he can do, I have the evidence and all. That's a quarrel between the manager HR, that is a chief manager HR, and a gang of workmen. You know what has happened? They stabbed him. Horrible. They stabbed him, and the case went on. The people are arrested, and a lot of issues, nearly 15 years plus the case was going on, and then it went to Supreme Court. I have the case file itself, and I know one of the convicted in that. So see, and I know the NHR who died on the spot. One of the best persons, very caliber, and he has got 2 children. He was around 45 or so. See, very sad news. Why I am telling all these things, you must be very careful in inquiring or in witnessing. So, motive behind, why he has done that? What made him to do that? Date and time and the commission of the act. Date, time. What exactly he has done, by what time and date, approximate time on the particular date. The shift end 2 o'clock or about around 2 o'clock. Don't say exact time, say always around or about. Motive behind, why he has done that? All the obtained factual written reports from complainant. You have to get that. If delinquent also gives something in writing, get that also. So it is a fact-finding quasi-judicial inquiry. It is a fact-finding, not a quasi-judicial, not a quasi-judicial inquiry. Fact-finding means what exactly has happened. Is there prima facie case to issue Showcause notice? Is there a prima facie case to issue Showcause notice? That you have to ascertain in the preliminary inquiry. So preliminary inquiry is only to do that. And what is quasi-judicial inquiry? Quasi-judicial inquiry is domestic inquiry. Domestic inquiry is internal inquiry. It is called domestic inquiry because it is conducted within the organization, either within the campus or outside by the organization. Like the government appointing a judge to conduct various cases in various courts, from magistrate courts to high court or Supreme Court. For each area, one family court like that, labor court like that, lot of courts are there, and the people, the judges are appointed, and the practicing lawyers become judges. Here, in the case of domestic inquiry, the appointment is done by whom? Appointment is done by the company. The inquiry, the internal inquiry or domestic inquiry, the inquiry officer is appointed by the company. So it is a judicial inquiry, and a preliminary investigation is just finding whether there is a prima facie case. So it is not a domestic inquiry at all. See, preliminary inquiry investigation is different. Domestic inquiry is different. Domestic inquiry is after Showcause notice. Preliminary inquiry, investigations before Showcause notice. So if you are certain that there is a prima facie case after discussing with all the people, the witness and the employee, then you can go for Showcause notice. So please understand that there is a difference between preliminary inquiry, domestic inquiry, and judicial inquiry at court. In domestic inquiry, what is the how it is going to be conducted, that we are going to see today or in the next class. How the domestic inquiry to be conducted? Is it like a court inquiry? The position of the person who is conducting inquiry may be like a judicial authority, but there's a slight difference. Why slight difference? That's a big difference between domestic inquiry and the court inquiry. And domestic inquiry, I've already told you, preliminary inquiry is not a domestic inquiry. So in preliminary inquiry, the person inquiring both the sides must be very careful, and he cannot lose his balance. He cannot be emotional, and he cannot shout at anybody. He cannot conclude that somebody has done it. He has to hear and then inform him. You can inform him, I got a complaint like this. He cannot decide and say that you have done it. நீங்க தூங்கிட்டு இருக்கீங்கன்னு புகார் வந்திருக்கு, சிசிடிவி ஃபுட்டேஜ்லயும் இருக்கு, சொல்லாம இருக்கலாம். சிசிடிவி ஃபுட்டேஜ் நீங்க உங்க ஒர்க்கை நிறுத்திட்டீங்க, நீங்க வேலையை நிறுத்திட்டு நைட் ஷிப்ட்ல வரும்போது வேலை செய்யாம உங்க ப்ரொடக்டிவிட்டி கம்மியா இருக்கு, ப்ரொடக்ஷன் கம்மியா இருக்கு, நீங்க கேர்லெஸ்ஸா இருந்தீங்க, உங்க இடத்துலயே நீங்க இல்ல. இதுதான் சூப்பர்வைசர் சொல்லியிருக்காரு. இதுக்கு ரெக்கார்டு இருக்கு. நீங்க உங்க பேர்ல தப்பு இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சூப்பர்வைசர் சொல்றாரு. சூப்பர்வைசர் சொன்ன பிறகு நம்ம அதை சொல்றோம். Then the workman may say, see, you must be very calm, polite, not to show your anger. Even in case of theft, not to show anger. Must be very careful. See, what will happen? Say, are you able to understand the preliminary inquiry investigation now? Am I clear? Response, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So we have seen how these 8 points, but also I said, you should not get emotion. But what to do in case of some police inquiry? in case of some police inquiry or the person is under arrest and under the police custody, a custodial inquiry, in case of any other inquiry, not in this country, but worldwide. You might not have seen such a punishment or investigation. I will show you right now a movie wherein you see the way the person who is supposed to investigate behaves. But there are some people who behave like that. But this incident is, you may think that it is in film. What is in actual life only is in film. May not be in this country, but in some countries it is still happening. And we have to see that certainly you can see that. See, there may be some people who may be very calm in operations. They won't talk much. They may be composed. If you laugh, they may laugh. You cannot find out anything against them. But if you accuse him, for some misconducts or mischievous act, he may become very furious. And suddenly he may again say that sorry, sir, like that. Now we have to see one film clipping wherein the person who is investigating loses the balance, and the person who is investigated, that the person who is alleged, he is behaving very rudely. Now you can see that.
Excuse me, sir.
Please.
Sir, I want to know the difference between the judicial, the quasi-judicial inquiry and judicial inquiry, sir.
That is domestic inquiry and judicial inquiry, correct?
Yes, sir.
That will come. That will come. It is not you not just now watch. There is a separate topic on that. Last sixth topic about the domestic inquiry. In that I will explain you. Definitely I will explain you. This small difference only I will explain you. Okay. And
Thank you,
I
sir.
will tell you. Keep in mind that. And
Yes.
even question answer session I will tell you. Don't worry.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, leave it. Showcause notice and charge sheet. See, this is the most important area. You all read. Must be in writing. If in English, translate to the regional language. If it is in Karnataka, in Kannada. If it is in Tamil Nadu, its language, mother tongue is Tamil, in Tamil. If it is from Andhra, it must be in English. Showcause notice. Showcause notice is issued once the alleged misconduct, you understand that there is a prima facie case, then you have to issue showcause notice. Showcause notice, it must be in writing. And also charge sheet. I will come back to you about the difference between showcause notice and charge sheet. And what is the advantage of issuing both. Showcause notice, it must be in writing. Charge sheet also, it must be in writing. If in English, transfer to regional language. It should be a simple language. Don't use any jargon. Don't be Shakespeare. Don't be Shakespeare. Don't use any jargon. So it should be in a very simple language. If somebody reads it, he must be a workman. If you read it, he should not have an advocate to understand it. It should be in a very simple language, understandable to the workman or anybody who is reading it. You must be careful. You must write the full name. Some people I have seen, Murali, they used to call him as Murali, and in the showcase notice also they will say Murali. And the witness name also sometimes they change it and they give wrongly. You are not supposed to call incorrect name or off name. Even in general, you understand that calling somebody by off name is not good. If somebody's name is Priya Darshini, you can also call them Darshini, Priya, call Priya Darshini, and with initial when you are writing. When you are writing, you have to write with initial. If you write without initial, there may be a question from the employee, or there may be two persons like that. It all happened. In real fact, in some of the cases, where we have to get the court order and all, the names are same. The employee claims that I am not this person. See, there was a court case also against the employee. We brought all the things through RTI, and the employee said the same name. Many people are there in my street. Simply that initial was missing. So even if initial is there, you may say, but see, if you change the initial, if the initial is wrong, you must be very careful. whatever there in his personal file and records and as given by him in the certificates, that name only you have to use. Why I am telling very clearly, some people may be in a hurry to give a Showcause notice. ID number is working ID number, that is the employee number we say. Should be very specific. WT 200 means WT 200. So precise. What should be precise? Showcause notice should be precise. You cannot know, say so many things like a story, and it should be accurate, very perfect, date, time, and other things, very clear. If you read if you read that, you can say that this is what has happened. It should be accurate. That is the language that you are using should be very good. Need not be a very tough for Shakespeare high language. It should be a simple language, no need for a jargon. If why habitually I have given, if somebody is habitually absent, you have to mention that. And if somebody is habitually doing some misconduct of different types also, you are habitually involving in different misconducts like this, you have to mention habitual. Habitual means varakkamaga. Actual offending languages. I will come to you about actual offending language. Exactly what the language used. It need not be in the Showcause notice. In case of Chargesheet, it must be. That is, you have to, in Showcause notice, it is enough you will narrate the whole incident of what exactly has happened. Suppose if he has beaten on the right hand, slapped him on the left cheek, beaten by hand, the cheek off, chin off, so like that, on the face like that. But while putting in the Chargesheet, you must be elaborate, very clear, very specific, and mention what are all the activities that is involved one by one. So what I wanted to tell you is actual offending languages, it need not be put in Showcause notice, but whereas in Chargesheet you have to. Why Showcause notice followed by Chargesheet? Showcause notice is you are narrating the incident. It has been reported as follows. You are absent from so and so day to so and so day. It is affecting the general discipline of the company and also the productivity, the shift schedule. You are ARB, and it is against the rules of the company. You are ARB, like you have to explain in writing, like that, within 72 hours, not 48 hours. Most of the companies are mentioning time as 48 hours. Don't mention 48 hours in Showcause notice. Showcause notice, to get explanation, you must give 72 hours from the receipt of notice, not from the date of the notice. Please be careful about the date also. If you are receiving today, you put today. You can respect, you must preferably respect today itself. And from the receipt of the letter, 3 days he will take and then reply. So if it is sent by speed post, to get the reply itself, it may take 6 days. So you have to wait at least for that. So time, specific, habitual, actual offending languages. So Showcause notice or Chargesheet, Showcause notice should narrate the incident. Whatever I said like this right now about absenteeism, you were absent from so and so date to so and so date. It has been reported as follows that you were absent from so and so date to so and so date. Because of your absence, the general discipline, productivity is affected, shift schedule planning also affected. You are required to show. This is the Showcause notice. It asks you the reasons for the misconduct and giving you time to explain. Once a Showcause notice is issued and the employee gives his explanation, then he can give Chargesheet followed by Showcause notice. So first Showcause notice, and if he replies within the stipulated period or not, please note whether he replies or not. Here to followed by Showcause notice, we can issue Chargesheet. And in the Chargesheet, you have to narrate the incident. Whatever you said in the Showcause notice, the same incident you have to narrate little elaborately with actual offending languages. It should be elaborate, and also you have to mention whether it is a misconduct coming under your certified standing order. If you got certified standing order, under what class? What are the classes that you can put? That to be put absenteeism while on duty. There is a class. So you have to put that class and write absenteeism while on duty for more than 10 days or continuously you are absent habitually absent, like that, you have to put that exactly that class and subclass 16.5. For example, in the model standing order, the அடிக்கடி வழக்கமாய் வேலைக்கு ஆஜராகாமல் வர இயலாமை in bracket absent அல்லது தொடர்ச்சியாக 10 நாளுக்கு மேல் வேலைக்கு வர இயலாமல் இருப்பது. You have to mention it is under class 16 subclass 5. Class 16 subclass 5, you have to mention this and say that this is the misconduct as per model standing order about your absence. And that you mention, and then you have to, in the last paragraph, tell him that you have to give an explanation in writing. Some people may omit the word writing. So you have to give it the explanation writing within 72 hours. If not given in writing, or the explanation is not satisfactory, he may go for further action. So that you have to complete. The difference between Showcause and Chargesheet is little elaborate. Here the standing order is mentioned, incident is narrated, actual offending languages are used. Signing authority, simply two persons. One is the director, managing director of the company, who is the occupier, or any director who is the occupier. In the Factories Act, the name is mentioned as occupier. He is ultimate responsible for all the efforts of the company under the company's law. The occupier or the managing director who sign the paper, and he can authorize somebody also to sign. And if he authorizes him, authorize the manager HR or the appointing authority. Somebody is saying the appointment to he can. Or there is a manager, factory manager under the Factories Act. He can also sign the. Others cannot sign, others did not sign. Some people, they commit a mistake of the concerned department itself signing the Showcause notice, which is a blunder. Need not. But if the top management number one or the HR himself is involved and he is a factory manager or the director, then he can sign and also mention the incident. But in general, the concerned department head should not sign. He can only make a complaint and he cannot sign. And the signing authority himself can be a complaint sometimes. It's very rare occasion. So signing authority is preferably the director, appointing authority, or the factory manager in accordance with Factories Act. That is, if you look at the Form 2, every year you are renewing the license, renewal of license, the renewed license, they may mention that occupier, manager. Either the occupier or manager mentioned there, because in court of law they will ask it, who has signed it, what is his authority? The other side, the advocate may ask it. At the time you cannot say, there is a HR manager and he signed it. He will immediately ask, he is the appointing authority or factory manager, he may say, then the case may become invalid or may get delayed. A lot of confusions will be there. So you are supposed to get it signed by only the concerned signing authority, that is factory manager or the occupier or the appointing authority. So Showcause notice, Chargesheet difference we have seen. Showcause notice in a little brief way, it is not actual offending languages are not, need not be mentioned, and standing order need not be mentioned. In some companies, they combine both the Showcause notice and Chargesheet also you are getting an explanation. For Showcause notice also you will get an explanation. In some companies, it is not mandatory to follow this, but if you follow, you are following an SOP like this, and it's a systematic way, and there is no specific rule or law or act to say that you must first issue Showcause notice, because as such domestic inquiry is under principle of natural justice. It is not as per any specific definition given in act how to conduct a domestic inquiry, even though it is mentioned about the domestic inquiry in the certificate standing order or model standing order. It is not elaborately mentioned. It is under the principle of natural justice. That is, preliminary inquiry is conducted and bill opportunity is given, then you are going for inquiry. In that case, Showcause notice is given and then Chargesheet is given. In some companies, they combine both Showcause notice and Chargesheet. Karanam korum kadidam, Showcause notice now. Asking somebody to explain the incident. That is, the alleged employee should have explained. Chargesheet means குற்றப்பத்திரிகை, குற்றச்சாட்டு பத்திரிகை அப்படின்னு சொல்லனா சில பேர் கோவம் வரும். நீங்க குற்றப்பத்திரிகையில நீங்க முடிவு பண்ணிட்டீங்களா அப்படின்னு கேட்போம். இல்ல, குற்றப்பத்திரிகைனா முடிவு பண்றது கிடையாது, அது ஒரு FIR மாதிரி. So குற்றப்பத்திரிகை means it's like an FIR. That's all. So the employee may ask while he is replying that you have already concluded. They are not concluding. They are only giving a charge sheet or showcase notice come charge. You can issue showcase notice, get explanation. You can issue charge sheet, get explanation. Otherwise, you can issue both put together. So, hello, any doubts? I will come back to you. See, that is the thing with regard to, suppose you are issuing the showcase notice or charge sheet to the employee, you must issue in front of one more person, the HR manager and the concerned department manager must be available, and preferably it can be issued to the HR department or at the gate, time office or security gate. There is an office, if there's an office at security, go there, sit and issue. Along with the department head, the HR can issue the charge sheet or showcase notice. Generally, what will happen if you issue the showcase notice or charge sheet? The employee may refuse. Or the employee may say that with objection I am receiving it, leave it. The employee may say that he will come back and get within 1 hour, or he will consult and get back. If he refuses, or he may say that send it by speed post or registered post, I won't take it. In such case, you can send it to his house. And there are some standing order wherein they say, and if it's coming back, you keep it in file. There are some standing order wherein they say that if the employee fails to receive, send it by a newspaper. You advertise in the newspaper the charge sheet and ask for explanation. But some companies, they don't want to reveal the incident to general public, so they are not doing it. But wherever the standing order very clearly says advertise in newspaper, you must advertise, or otherwise, if this clause is not there, you can exhibit in the notice board and take it back. I think now we have come to a conclusion of about the showcase notice and charge sheet. So far we have seen what one is about misconduct, another is about suspension pending inquiry, and then preliminary investigation, showcase come charge sheet. So now you must know what are all the incidents for which the showcase notice come charge sheet will come. I'll get back to you in 5 minutes. You please recall whatever has been taught so far. I'll come back to you in 5 minutes to ask you some questions about showcase notice and charge. And also be given, and the employee is giving his reply. Hello? Hello? Next subject. Examples of cases. Examples of cases. Now the exercise is on you. Yeah, are you able to see this? Are you all able to see this? Harish?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Drafting of showcase and charge sheet preparations. That is preparation of showcase and charge sheet. Examples of cases I have given: absenteeism, assault, riotous or disorderly behavior, willful damages, sabotage, strike, garrow, go slow, theft, drunken while on duty, loitering. See, the first case, absence for months together from March to June. No communication by the workman. This is a case. Assault. During the night shift, some other workmen left the workplace. Assault, number 2. During the night shift, some other workmen, few workmen were not available in the work spot, and they left the machine as such, running condition, without even informing the supervisor, were not available for nearly 15 to 20 minutes. The supervisor noticed and asked them why they have left, and the argument went on, and they, out of anger, they barged or they have beaten the supervisor. And another case is assault. The company has displayed on the notice board about CCTV installation in the top floor, and also informed the union and exhibited the CCTV. People were shocked and stopped the production and said that they will not allow installation of CCTV in the shop floor. And they said that it has to be discussed and the total production came to a standstill. They started gathering and then staying straight. Theft. One of the, it is an hospital. I am giving you some examples. You have to write now. Please listen. Anyone you can take and write. I will be asking you to read. You have to write any one of these, whatever incident I said. Now I am going to say you about a theft incident. I will tell you the narrate the incident. You can write the Showcause notice or Chargesheet, or Showcause and Chargesheet put together. One. I am telling you about theft. In one of the hospitals, a senior employee, a woman employee, nurse, she was in charge of few wards, and the people, hospitalized people, were given medicines to take, and it will be kept aside by the bed. And before discharging, there may be some medicines left out, tonic, pills, tablets, powder, or anything, bandage, anything. Such things, they have to hand over to the hospital. But what happens, this nurse makes a round and ensures that she collects from them, saying that you are going to discharge the mandala use doctor. It is what, no, you are going to get discharged. I will take all these things. Like that, she is habituated. She is around 55 years old. She is habituated to collect the medicines and take it home, send to some pharmacy. Theft. This was found out by the security at the gate. She refused it and she was caught hold of, and they checked her bag and also a tiffin box. All the medicines were kept in the tiffin box. In one of the bag, the bottles of some tonic and other things. So kept, it's a total theft. Drunken while on duty. One of the employees came around 6:30 for the first shift, 6 a.m. and the security noticed that he was drunken while on duty and asked him to go back. He went into the back gate and then entered in, argued with the security and also argued with the supervisor and said that it is only an hangover, he has not drunk, he had drunk yesterday morning only. So it is one incident. Loitering and sleeping. There is one of the employee was roaming around and went to the restroom and slept in the restroom for hours together. And this was noticed by the supervisor. See, I have given you examples, and it may not take much time. Now I am stopping here because I have given you some examples. There are some more serious examples. See, if you look at it, I have examples from 2010, and this is the bunch. And a day in recent past in another industry, they charge around 15 people. So number of cases are happening like this. I've given you only some examples. You can take any one of the incident and the example of misconduct, and if possible, if you have paper, you can write the drafting of Showcause notice or Chargesheet or Showcause notice and Chargesheet, or you can think and get back to me. If I call somebody, they can just tell in few words about the drafted Showcause notice for the incident they have made. Okay, so I have given you some examples. If you have pen and paper, you can write down the Chargesheet itself in 10 minutes. But if you do not have the pen and paper, you can just think and get back to me. If you are ready, you can say, I will listen. If you are not ready, you take 10 minutes because around 20 people are there. All the people can participate in this. It is only like a question answer session. Started now itself because I just wanted to know how quick you are in understanding this. So you all can, are you all ready? And have you all heard about it? If you are writing, please go ahead. But if somebody is ready, they can come. You can come on and tell your name and just tell narrate the Showcause notice or Chargesheet. Or if you want time to write it 5 minutes, you can take 5 or 10 minutes. Am I clear?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
கேக்குதா உங்களுக்கு? Are you all able to hear
கேக்குதுங்க
me?
சார். இப்போ ஷோகாஸ் எஸ் சார், ஷோகாஸ் எழுதணுங்களா இல்ல சார்ஜ் ஷீட்டுங்களா சார்?
நீங்க ஷோகாஸ் பண்ணா எழுதலாம். ஷோகாஸ் பண்ணா எழுதலாம், இல்ல சார்ஜ் ஷீட் பண்ணா எழுதலாம், அல்ல ஷோகாஸ் கம் சார்ஜ் ஷீட் எழுதலாம். அதாவது காரணம் கோரும் கடிதம் you can write, that is showcase notice, or you can write charge sheet, குற்றப்பத்திரிகை, or you can write showcase notice come charge sheet. See, some companies are combining both and giving. It means totally it is narrated, including the standing orders given in that, and the personal language used by one to another also written in that. What exactly has transpired, what exactly has happened there, what he said, what reply has been given. That is, the incident is narrated as if it is said by them. In showcase notice, you are only narrating the incident. நீங்க இத சொன்னீங்க, அவர் அதுக்கு பதில் இப்படி சொன்னாரு, அதெல்லாம் சார்ஜ் ஷீட்ல வரும், குற்றப்பத்திரிகையில. So any one of you, if you are ready to tell, please tell, I can listen to you. Harish, Ishwari, Paul Pandey, are you on the job? Are you on the job?
Yeah, sir. Started, sir.
See, absenteeism is easy. Just you can
Sir,
just say
regarding
whatever you want.
sir, regarding issue of misbehavior,
Your name, please.
Paul Pandi, sir.
Paul Pandey, சொல்லுங்க. You can tell in Tamil
regarding
also. If others
okay.
are not able to understand, I can translate. Don't worry.
Regarding issue of misbehavior.
Little louder.
Hello, sir. Is audible, sir? Is audible, sir? Okay, sir. Regarding issue of misbehavior, Mr. So and so, sir. It has been observed today. We state at time, hours, that you misbehaved with your reporting officer. Mr. Reporting officer name, Mr. or supervisor name, or somebody name, who's reporting, resulting in insubordination and showcasing improper behavior. Misbehavior of any kind and with any level of employee is a serious non-disciplinary act as per company's policy and rules. By doing such with your reporting officer, Mr. Supervisor name, you have made yourself liable for necessary action. Next, failure to adhere to the condition of this warning will lead to more serious corrective action up to and including discharge.
Over. See, shall we do one thing? I'm having the mobile number of all. Some of you who are interested can draft it. Some of you who are interested can draft without seeing any previous records and other things or any other charge sheet issued. You yourself decide one particular incident. I have narrated many incidents and then make a draft of it and share it to me, so that the next class I can see if there is any discussion to be done on that. I will discuss. It is better. And don't worry about the right or wrong. Nobody can be 100% perfect in drafting, and you are all people who know how to write a brief letter of incident. So you make on your own narrate a particular incident and frame a charge sheet or showcase notice or charge sheet from showcase notice. And I request each one of the participants here, to draft on their own if you are not able to tell right now. Is this arrangement okay for you all? The next class is only by next Saturday. Before that, whoever wants to take this exercise, I appeal to all of you to do this exercise. That is, just frame a charge sheet or showcase because it will give you experience. What happens, many people ask the external source to do it. And unless you have the experience of doing it, you cannot find out whether the external person has done it properly. So you must have the experience of drafting on your own. Suppose there is an incident happen. Imagine an incident which I have told you, that is sleeping while on duty, loitering, or violent behavior, abusive language, garrow, strain, anything. In that case, how to draft a showcase notice or showcase notice from charge sheet? How to draft a showcase notice or showcase notice from charge sheet? So you prepare on your own. Before the next class, if you share with me, because now some people may be hesitant and they may not have time to talk about it. So it is preferable that this agreement is good between you and me. That is, you can draft it, saying in a particular incident and show me. I request each one of you, all of the participants, to do this exercise and come back to me in the next program. But now, last but not the least, here in this program is the last slide. How about an inquiry? I will take another 5 minutes and close it. Don't worry. Last. See, are you all able to see this? Preliminary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Preliminary steps.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Krishnan, Arun Kumar,
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes, yes.
Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Okay, all of you are available right now, I can proceed, preliminary steps for domestic inquiry. See, now, you have issued charge sheet, showcase notice or charge sheet, whatever may be, and he has also replied. The reply may be either admission or not accepting. That is, the employee may either accept the misconduct and say that, please forgive me, please do not punish me. என்னை மன்னிக்கவும் தாழ்மையுடன் கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறேன், இதுபோல இனி செய்ய மாட்டேன். There is a possibility for that. But in majority of the cases, due to the influence of the union or some of the employees or an external leader or somebody. Hello? Hello? And somebody is talking, any help you want? Shall I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Collecting and verifying the preliminary steps for domestic and collecting and verifying the details, additional information about appointment of EO, MR, date, time, venue, drafting up letter of inquiry. These are all the 5 steps with regard to preliminary steps to be taken for domestic inquiry. What is the first step for preliminary for domestic inquiry? First step before starting the domestic inquiry. What is the first step?
Verifying the data.
Collecting the
Very good.
facts.
Verifying the data. That is, you have received a complaint. For example, absence means you have received a complaint from the supervisor or the manager. You have base record of attendance, biometric attendance, whether all these are available. You have issued showcase notice, whether he has replied. Showcase notice, reply, this biometric attendance, and now everything is ready, pakka. So everything is ready. So that is the first thing, whether all matters are ready. Then you have to see whether the data are perfect. and you have to see whether the data are perfect. Then what? I have said something about additional information. Suppose the misconduct
have
is
to-
continued. Hello?
Hello.
Are you
Sir,
able
this
to
is
hear me?
Kalidasan. Yeah, this is Kalidasan.
Anything?
Sir, this is Kalidasan, sir. Good morning.
Please, சொல்லுங்க காளிதாசன்.
And also collecting witness.
About collecting.
Witness.
அதுதான்.
Come on.
See, witness statement. See,
Yeah, witness
that is,
statement.
witness statement is in case of absenteeism, only
Huh?
say there's no need for any witness because it is a evidence, record evidence, and the witness is the complainant himself. See,
Yes, sir. As
he
a
is
not for.
asking about,
Yeah.
Kalidasan is asking about witness. See, in case of
Yeah.
absenteeism, you have the attendance record. There is a supervisor who is saying that he was absent, and also you have the production logbook of that particular machine. The whole week he was absent, or the whole month he was absent. So, document and the complainant, there's no need for a third person to give a witness here. In case of assault, I can agree. In case of assault, I can
Yeah.
agree. In case of theft also, I can
Yeah.
agree. Because
Yeah, I'm telling for that only, sir. Yeah.
are you able to get me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm
So,
telling that.
and then additional information. What is additional information? That is, the incident has happened. After the absenteeism charge sheet is given for a particular period. Subsequently also he was absent. Subsequently also he was absent. Or he was not suspended. Subsequently, he misbehaved with people inside because he was panic about the incident. So additional misconduct. So additional information is what he has done after issuing charge sheet. Subsequently, although he may be absent, for that you need not conduct another inquiry. You can issue an additional charge sheet for that. That is called additional information. Suppose he has threatened somebody, or he was talking about it, loitering inside the factory about it, then also you can issue an additional charge sheet. So additional Showcause notice and charge sheet. So these are all the precautions that we have to take while preparing the Showcause notice, some charge sheet, after while preparing the notice of inquiry. That is preliminary steps with regard to notice of inquiry. Before issuing notice of inquiry, you must have all these things, that, and then additional information. And then most important thing is, who is going to conduct the inquiry? Who is the inquiry officer? The inquiry can be conducted by an internal person, any officer of the company. Or it can be conducted by an external person. Some people, some labor department retired people also are conducting inquiry, but preferably inquiry can be conducted by an outsider advocate appointed by the company. A person who is familiar with conducting inquiry and labor laws can be appointed by the company of discussions with them, telling them what exactly is the issue. With this concurrence, you can appoint an external person. For that, you have to issue an appointment letter to the inquiry officer, and the appointment letter, once the appointment letter is issued to the inquiry officer will give his date and time for the inquiry, and you will be fixing the inquiry according to the date and time given by the inquiry officer. Once the inquiry officer gives this date and time, you are ready. And once if you decide the venue, in case of suspension pending inquiry, it is always preferable to conduct the inquiry outside the premises of the company in case of suspension pending inquiry. But in some cases, they conduct inside the plant also, depending on the issue. If the issue is very vulnerable and riotous and damage of properties and assault, then it is preferable to suspend and conduct the inquiry outside. So you have to fix the inquiry officer and you have to fix the management representative also. Who is the management representative? He is going to represent the company and submit all the papers and documents and produce witnesses on behalf of the company. So you must know, you must fix that EO, inquiry officer. I already told you can be an internal person or an external person, advocate, knowing labor laws, well versed in conducting inquiry. Or you can have a retired labor department person also, but preferably an advocate who is having experience in the field, because you'll be very clear, you will be seeing everything and then finding whether it is in order, he may find whether it is in order, etc. So it is preferable, because you may not be knowing 100%, and in such case, he may find out and say that this is a problem and this is correct and this is incorrect like that. So we support you right from the beginning. And also, but generally, inquiry officer should never be biased. He should go in accordance with the available records and conduct the cases. There are a number of cases where I have given that the case is not proved. There are cases. And the majority of the cases, because unless there is a prima facie case, you are not going to conduct an inquiry. In some cases, I have let off and said that some portion is only proved. So you have to appoint the inquiry officer and you have to appoint the management person. One of the officers, not the person of the concerned person's department. Suppose X is in maintenance department. He is the person who is on who is the delinquent. Then you cannot appoint the manager of him, because he is going to be a witness or he is his boss. He will be biased only. So it is preferable not to appoint MR from the same department. Also preferable not to appoint personal department head also preferable. But if there is nobody else, the personal department head can appear. But only thing is the workman may object. I will come back to you when we are discussing in length and breadth about the inquiry there. So before conducting inquiry, you have to check the documents. You have to see what are the statements available, including the witness statement. You have to decide the date, time, and venue, and then you have to decide about before deciding the date, time, and venue. If it is internal, you can decide on your own. Otherwise, if it is external, you have to consult the external officer, advocate, and fix the date, time, and venue. For suspension pending inquiry, preferable to conduct outside. I will come back to you regarding this in detail in the next program. And then after fixing the date, time, and venue, after fixing the EO, after fixing the MR, what is the last one? Drafting of inquiry notice. Sending inquiry notice. This is the ultimate. You have to issue a inquiry notice. You have already issued Showcause notice, got the explanation, not satisfied or satisfied. You are issuing a inquiry notice. The inquiry notice will be properly drafted, and the inquiry notice can be straight issued by the inquiry officer himself, or the company can issue according to the instructions of the inquiry officer. So drafting of inquiry notice is the final ultimate thing. So these are all the precautions that we have to take before going into inquiry. So with this, we have discussed elaborately today about. Sorry that this session may extend if necessary by 5 or 10 minutes. Bear with me, not more than that. So we have discussed now about preliminary matters to be seen before conducting inquiry. So today we have seen 5 or 6 topics, 6 topics rather, and I request any one of you. Now it is a session for you discussing with me. Any questions you can ask now, or you can come by email also. I can share. If you do not have my email, I can share my email to you. Come in email, definitely I can answer of whatever has happened in the first session or second session now. And any questions, if you are not questioning, anyone can sum up and all others can hear. Am I right? Thank you all for participating with me. Now it is yours.
Sir, very good
Yeah,
afternoon. I am
I'm giving to
Jyotimani.
you, leaving to the floor, and please you come and tell me whatever points you have learned, or ask me some questions if you want. Thank you for listening
I am
to me patiently right from the.
Thank you. Sir, I am Jyotimani.
Huh?
I am Jyotimani.
Jyotimani, please.
Yes. Sir, is it standing order is mandatory to signed by company?
Then you are asking me whether standing order is mandatory.
Yes,
If it is an industry model, standing order is mandatory.
yes, yes.
If it is an
Certifying.
industry company, I mean company or logistics company or shop and establishment, you need not prepare the standing order. There is already government has stipulated a model standing order, and if you are not having your own standing order, model standing order will apply. Of course, it is preferable to have your own certificate standing order to the department. Next, Jyotimani, I have answered you.
Yeah, thank
You
you.
must have. You must have.
Okay.
I'm Harish.
Hello, Harish.
Sir, showcase notice and charge sheet for a supervisor also, sir. Supervisor, worker work பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கப்போ சூப்பர்வைசர் நைட் ஷிஃப்ட்ல தூங்கிட்டா அவங்களுக்கும் அப்ளிகபிள் சார் ஷோகாஸ் அண்ட் சார்ஜ் ஷீட்.
No, I am not clear. See, what are you asking about the supervisor giving the complaint? Anyone can tell about it? All of you are hearing him, no? But what is your question?
No, sir. No, his question is, sir. இல்ல அவரோட கொஸ்டின் என்னன்னா, ஒர்க்கருக்கு நாம வந்து ஷோகாஸ் நோட்டீஸ் கொடுக்குறோம். அப்போ சூப்பர்வைசர் நைட் ஷிஃப்ட்ல தூங்கிட்டாருன்னா அவருக்கும் கொடுக்கலாமா அப்படிங்கறத
கொடுக்கணுமா?
அதுதான் சார் கேட்டேன். கேக்கலையா? வாய்ஸ் கேக்கல.
The supervisor is sleeping. அலைவரே தப்பு பண்றாரு. இல்ல சார், எஸ் சார். அலைவரே தப்பு பண்ணும்போது அவர் வீட்டுக்கு அனுப்பிடணும். என்ன என்கொயரி? See, the enquiry and domestic enquiry is generally applicable to workmen covered under the ID Act and standing order. As far as the managers and team leaders and supervisors are concerned, there is one code of conduct in some companies or the appointment order. You can see the appointment order of the supervisor. It will be very clearly said that there is no need for anything. A 3 months notice on either side or 2 months notice on either side is enough to dispense with somebody without even mentioning the misconduct. அது மாதிரி ஒரு கிளாஸ் இருந்ததுன்னா சூப்பர்வைசர், if there is a class like that, supervisor can be dispensed with preliminary inquiry, or as such you can without even preliminary inquiry, if some report comes, definitely the supervisor will be dismissed. But to be on the safer side, follow all the systems, but don't quote only standing order. Quote the as per the rules and regulations of the company and model standing order. See, suppose there is a supervisor, you are doubtful whether he is a worker, because you cannot decide he is a worker or not. You may decide, but ultimately the court may say the supervisor is also like a worker because he may be working on the machine. You may call him as a supervisor. See, some of the companies, the problem is the team leader. You say team leader is an executive, and some other companies they have 3 classifications. You agree? Manager, executive ஒரு கிளாசிபிகேஷன், ஒர்க்மேன் டீம் மெம்பர் ஒரு கிளாசிபிகேஷன், ஸ்டாஃப் கேட்டகரி. யூ ரிமெம்பர், நிறைய பேர் பார்த்திருப்பீங்க ஸ்டாஃப் கேட்டகரின்னு. அதெல்லாம் அந்த சூப்பர்வைசர் ஸ்டாஃப் கேட்டகரி எல்லாம் வந்து இங்கேயும் இல்லை அங்கேயும் இல்லை, நடுவுல. அது மாதிரி ஒரு கேட்டகரி நீங்க வந்து பண்ணும்போது யூ மஸ்ட் பி வெரி கேர்ஃபுல். யூ ஹேவ் டு டேக் த preliminary investigation, issue showcause notice, get reply, conduct enquiry, because even if you go to court and say that he is a workman, he is falling into workman category or he is falling under ID Act, you can very well say that I have conducted an inquiry. So if he is a supervisor also, you have to deal with him properly as per the system available with you. And if you want to apply him the standing order, you can very well apply. Say that, but we have to conduct in detail the inquiry. Supervisor is also to be punished. Next, you cannot allow him.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Sir, you have mentioned some kind of misconducts will
Yeah,
not be
Priya,
accepted by. ஆமாங்க சார். பிரியா.
சொல்லுங்க. Please
Sir,
tell
some
me
kind of misconducts cannot be accepted by labor department சொன்னீங்க சார். அது என்னென்ன misconductனு சொல்றீங்களா?
ஒத்துக்கலாம்ன்றதுயா? Some kind of misconduct can be left out ல. அத என்ன சொல்றீங்க?
Yeah, cannot be accepted by labor department.
See, I will explain. I can explain you. I understand what you wanted to say. It is not labor department. See, the preliminary investigation. If I will show the tag. You see the tag is played the preliminary investigation. Preliminary investigation. See, to decide about taking or dropping action. See, some of the matters, they may drop the actions. What are the matters? I just said only one example. See, in case of a small misunderstanding between the supervisor and the employee, and the supervisor make it as a big issue and complaints. While on discussion, it is coming out that it is not that a serious matter, the boy is a good boy. Then you have to drop. And in some cases, he may have gone for lunch. Instead of 12:30, he may have gone for 12:25, 3-4 times. Supervisor would not have informed him. அப்படியே பார்த்துட்டு இருக்குது 4 நாள் கழிச்சு நீ 4 தடவை போயிட்டு வந்த. Allowing him to commit mistake of going to lunch by 10 minutes before and making it 3-4 times and initiating an argument and giving a complaint. இது என்ன ஒரு வேணும்னு பொறி வச்சு பிடிக்க கூடாது. அதே மாதிரி வந்து because of they are all in union, you cannot catch hold of the union leader like a watchdog. அப்படி பார்த்துட்டே இருக்கு ஜமால போய் பாயாது. You can be a watchdog, you can be a bulldog அப்படிம்பாங்க. நீங்க வந்து கண்காணிக்கலாம். அதை தப்பு கண்டுபிடிக்கிறதுக்குன்னு ஒரு சிஸ்டத்தை வச்சு கூடாது. பட் தப்பு பண்ணா கேட்கணும். ஸோ அதை வந்து டிராப்பிங் ஆக்ஷன்ஸ்ன்றது டிபெண்டிங் ஆன் தி இஷ்யூ. ஆல் இஷ்யூஸ் யூ நீட் நாட் எண்ட் இன் showcase notice. Some issues, you can even give a one letter. Some issues even you need not give a one letter. If you call him, sorry sir, சொன்னா முடிஞ்சு போச்சு. அவ்வளவுதான். இதுதான். இது லேபர் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் முடிவு பண்றதுல நீங்களே முடிவு பண்ணிடணும். லேபர் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் போனா ரொம்ப தப்பா போகும். இதுக்கலாமா நீங்க பண்ணுவீங்க அப்படிம்பாங்க. Okay, next.
Sir, actually, what is the minimum allowance of substances? What is the minimum allowance of substances paid during the suspension period, sir?
Substance allowance தானே?
Yes, sir, substance.
Substance allowance வந்து as per Substance Act and also நீங்க மாடல் ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஆர்டர்ல பாத்தீங்கன்னா இருக்கும் full salary. அதாவது சில பேர் வந்து பேசிக் கொடுப்பாங்க, டிஏ கொடுப்பாங்க. சில பேர் பேசிக் டிஏ கொடுப்பாங்க. அப்படி பண்ணக்கூடாது. ஃபுல் salary எடுத்துட்டு அதுல ஆஃப். நீங்க மாடல் ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஆர்டர்ல நான் உங்களுக்கு வந்து படிச்சு விடுறேன், வேணா நீங்க பாத்துக்கிடுங்க. மாடல் ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஆர்டர் உங்களுடைய சர்டிஃபிகேட் ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஆர்டர் வந்து cannot be different from the act. See, substitution allowance எப்படின்னா மாடல் ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஆர்டர்ல சப்ஸ்டிட்யூஷன் அலவன்ஸ் இருக்கு. சர்டிஃபிகேட் ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஆர்டர்ல நீங்க போடும்போது மாடல் ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஆர்டர் பிரகாரமா இருக்கணும். அதே மாதிரி வந்து இப்ப வந்து சப்ஸ்டிட்யூஷன் அலவன்ஸ் ஆக்ட்னே வந்துருச்சு, அது பிரகாரம் இருக்கணும். நீங்க சர்டிஃபிகேட் ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஆர்டர்ல வேற எதுவும் போடுறதுக்கு அலோவ் பண்ண மாட்டாரு முதல் 90 நாட்களுக்கு.
ஓகே,
முதல் 90 நாட்களுக்கு மாடல் ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஆர்டர்ல இருக்கு.
எஸ் சார்.
எவ்வளவு கொடுக்கணும்?
50%
salary கொடுக்கலாம். ஆஃப் salary கொடுக்கலாம். அப்புறம் 90 நாட்களுக்கு மேல்
50% 50 from 91 days to 180 days.
Half salary and then 3/4 salary.
91 to 180 it should be 75%, sir.
See, please listen to me. First 90 days. Please listen to me. First 90 days it is off and then 3/4. If it is beyond 180 days, you have to give full. But if the delay is due to workmen, you can always stop it and say that I won't give more than half, and you can say even quarter. So substance allowance is depending on the period it is given, and you cannot delay the inquiry. You have to start the inquiry itself immediately. Otherwise, you may lose the substance allowance. Even after completion of inquiry, also till you give punishment, the allowance goes. So substance allowance is as per Act. You go through the Substance Allowance Act and also standing order. And in some model standing order, they are mentioned. Next. Siddhesh or anybody?
Sir,
Thank
this
you,
is
sir.
Kalidasan.
Sir.
Sir, this is Kalidasan.
Kalidasan, சொல்லுங்க.
Sir, after issuing of a showcase, when you get a reply from employee, when that is not clear, and also that is their reply is not closed, not clear, also that their reply was not closed now, can be issued the second showcase like Yerandam Karnam Korum Mariupu?
Yerandam Karnam Korum Marike, second showcase notice meaning is itself different. I will tell you of the meaning later. See, I will tell you. You are issuing a showcase notice.
Yes.
Please listen to me, Kalidas. You are issuing a showcase notice. There is some mistakes in the showcase notice, or the reply is not satisfactory. You want to issue an additional showcase notice. It is additional showcase notice. Don't say second showcase notice. Or preferably, you can skip that, and when coming to Putra Patrika charge sheet, you can add that. See, showcase notice is a brief of the incident. You might have omitted something in the showcase notice. That doesn't mean that you should not include in the charge sheet. So if you have omitted something in the showcase notice, add in the charge sheet. That's all. Next. If anybody wants to leave, they can leave. They can say sorry to interrupt. If you are getting time, if you wanted to stay another 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you can stay. Otherwise, you can leave. And you can always ask in the next class. You can always send by mail or WhatsApp your questions. If it is possible, time permit before the next week, I may answer. So you don't stay back. And if you want to go for lunch, please go ahead. And another 5 minutes, I can hear all of you, or you can come by mail. And I want any one of you to totally tell or briefly tell what you understand. Like last time, I can tell Ishwar.
Sir, last question, sir. Sir, last question from my side, sir. Hello.
Video on பண்ணி எனக்கு சொல்லுங்க.
Hello.
Ishwar, tell me. நீங்க என்ன கத்துக்கிட்டீங்கன்னு சொல்லுங்க இங்கிலீஷ்ல.
Hello.
Some of them maybe.
Sir.
சொல்லுங்க.
Hello. Sir, Siddesh this side from last question from my side. Actually, if a person is on long leave, actually we don't know. We are not aware about this medical reason. But if we start inquiring, that we are sending the like notice, this and all, this warning letter and all is not received due to
that is you're not
medical reason. After once he came back to sorry sir,
you are not issuing warning letter at all, correct?
No. Suppose we are suppose he's on a leave, long leave on 3 months.
Okay.
Then actually we are not aware about he's on leave, medical leave. He's on reason for medical leave. Okay, he's not responding calls, he's not responding messages. Okay. Even we are sending all these letters and all, even he was not receiving by the time. What we have to
do, sir? He was on long leave, and you now said it is on medical leave. And what are the possibilities?
Yeah, we are not aware. But after 3 months only, we come to know. We will come to know. Yes, we will come to know he's on medical leave.
We are not aware that he is on medical leave. My question
is that we are sending all these 2-3 letters.
No, my question to you, while I was talking, I said you can contact him over phone.
Sir, we are sending a message. We are sending a message and we are calling him. But even though he was not responding calls as well as messages,
he is not responding anything. So ultimately, he is not coming at all. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir. He is coming. He is not coming at all for 3 months. He is not coming.
Yes, after 3 months, suddenly he came.
No, he is not coming at all. Then
after 3 months only he came and asked.
See what is chances left out for you in such cases? You can send one person from HR department. If there is a welfare department, a welfare officer is there, he can go to his native or to his house and see the condition of him. It is happening in many companies. In such companies, there is a welfare officer. If there is no welfare officer, are we not concerned about an employee who is absent for 10 days, leave alone 3 days, leave alone 3 months, leave alone 3 months. An employee is, I used to tell, you see, employee is an asset for you. You cannot take it for granted that ultimately I can issue suspension order, dismiss him, this, that and all. But if somebody is not available for next 3 days, you have to try to call him over phone. If he is not available for, please listen to me, if he is not available for 10 days, you have to write a letter. All this comes back. After 10 days, you can contact him over phone. If he is not taking, somebody else will take. Even if it is not happening, you can send somebody to his native house, to his present address. In both the places, he is not available according to you.
Yes, sir.
He's not
Yes, sir.
available for 3 months. What
Yes,
am I
sir.
to do? I do not know what has happened to him. His
Sir,
valuables
actually,
are not
after
known. I will tell you, I will complete, please. If such
yeah,
is the case, what is a, let's see, some people, I have seen a case of a person totally absconded, left
yes,
out of India, got the passport also left out of India. This has happened in one of the companies at Pondicherry. And I have to deal with such things. And a similar issue you are telling, in such case, you go and visit his house and ask him what has happened. He may tell, if he is available, he may tell, otherwise his parents or wife will tell. If nothing has happened, I already told you, the easy avenue is prepare a Chargesheet, Showcause notice and exhibit in the newspaper. That is
okay,
all. Or display in the notice board if it is not necessary to exhibit in the newspaper as per your certificate standing order. If you display in the notice board, all the employees are seeing, that is enough. Conduct an inquiry ex parte, close it because it is as per record, he has not come. And if he disputes in the inquiry, he has to come with them. See, there are occasions. Recent few days back, I have seen that he came to the inquiry, he was absent, and then said that I am not well. If he is covered under ESA, out, he is out, he has to go to ESA and inform. He cannot say, I am not well, I cannot move, I am in coma and all. Suppose if he is not in ESA, he comes to the inquiry, then you will ask him about the history, admission, discharge, summary.
okay,
See, this is a very serious case. In such cases, it may warrant only in dismissal. And even if he says that he was absent, why he should have informed through somebody? There are a lot of mode of operations. Every employee knows the WhatsApp number of the company. Today, technology is there. Every company is using apps. If not the case, he has to submit in the newspaper and conduct ex parte inquiry. After that, it will be decided by the court. That's all. Thank you.
okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Sinesh, are you satisfied?
Yes,
Sir, just one last query.
Please.
Sir, after is there anything left out for his any choices for him to justify? Like if he's come up with all medical things and all, can we consider all those medical things and can we rejoin him?
See, if he is coming with medical certificate and all, you have to ask him. You have to check the medical certificate, and if there's a fitness letter, you have to see how long he was on leave, his background, whether it is a frequent absence in the past also. Then you can ask him to go for total fitness of him. He may give fitness certificate presently.
Okay.
அது தகுதி சான்றிதழ் கொடுப்பாங்க ஹெல்த், அது கவர்மெண்ட்ல அங்க போய் நீ வாங்கிட்டு வான்னு கொடுக்கணும், கேட்கணும். அதனால மெடிக்கல் கிரவுண்ட்னா யூ ஷுட் பி வெரி கேர்ஃபுல் இன் டிஸ்மிசல். You have to ask for fitness for the present and also the fitness to work in your company. இதெல்லாம் பண்ணும்போது அவன் போயிடுவான்.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all for the participation. Nobody has summed up. Anyone, please? 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Myself, sir.
யாருங்க?
Priya.
In 2 minutes, 5 minutes.
Sir, இன்னைக்கு நம்ம பார்த்த அஜெண்டா misconducts பத்தி பார்த்தோம் சார். Misconductsல 27 misconducts இருக்கு சார் as per model standing order. அதுல serious misconductsனு பார்த்தோம்னா நம்ம leave without permission எடுக்கிறது and absenteeism. இல்ல லாஸ் ஆஃப் பே பத்தி சொன்னீங்க. லாஸ் ஆஃப் பே என்னன்னா, சப்போஸ் இன் கேஸ் ஒரு சூப்பர்வைசருக்கோ ஒரு ஒர்க்மேனுக்கோ லீவ் அப்ரூவ் ஆகி இருக்கு, பட் இந்த கேஸ் லீவ் பேலன்ஸ் இல்லாம எக்ஸாஸ்ட் ஆயிருந்ததுன்னா லாஸ் ஆஃப் பே. அண்ட் அடுத்து பார்த்தது சம் கேசஸ் இமிடியேட் சஸ்பென்ஷன் பெண்டிங் என்கொயரியில என்னென்ன சீரியஸ் மிஸ்கண்டக்ட்ஸ் பார்த்தோம். அசால்ட், இன்டென்ஷனலா டேமேஜ் பண்றது ப்ராப்பர்ட்டிஸ், கம்பெனி ப்ராப்பர்ட்டிஸ், அப்புறம் டிசிப்ளின் ஃபாலோ பண்ணாதது, அந்த ரான்சம். சஸ்பென்ஷன் பெண்டிங் என்கொயரி பார்த்தோம் சார். அதுல 2 முக்கியமான பாயிண்ட் என்னன்னா, சஸ்பென்ஷன் லெட்டர் இஷ்யூ பண்ணும் எய்தர் அட் தி எண்ட் ஆஃப் தி ஷிஃப்ட் ஆர் அட் தி பிகினிங் ஆஃப் தி ஷிஃப்ட். அப்புறம் சஸ்பென்ஷன் லெட்டர் நீட் நாட் பை எக்ஸ்பிளைனிங் த ஃபுல் சிவியர் மிஸ்கண்டக்ட். இட் இஸ் ஜஸ்ட் 2 லைன் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட். என்ன இருக்கலாம்னா, கம்ப்ளைனன்ட் இருக்கணும், செக்ஷன்ஸ் மிஸ்கண்டக்ட்ஸ் இதெல்லாம் மென்ஷன் பண்ண வேண்டாம் சஸ்பென்ஷன் லெட்டர்ல. அதாவது 2 லைன் மட்டும் தான் இருக்கணும். அதுக்கப்புறம் பார்த்தோம்னா, டாக்குமெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் நமக்கு பக்காவா இருக்கணும். சிசிடிவி, பயோமெட்ரிக் அட்டெண்டன்ஸ் இதெல்லாம் இருக்கணும் சார். அடுத்த அஜெண்டா என்ன பார்த்தோம்னா, இன்னைக்கு இமிடியேட் சஸ்பென்ஷன், ஷோகாஸ், டைம் டு ரிப்ளை பை தி டெலின்குவன்ட் பார்த்தோம், டிராஃப்டிங் எக்ஸாம்பிள்ஸ் பார்த்தோம், என்கொயரி ப்ரொசீடிங்ஸ், வாட் ஆர் ஆல் த ப்ரிலிமினரி ஸ்டெப்ஸ் அது பார்த்தோம். இப்போ வை ப்ரிலிமினரி என்கொயரி நெசசரி 8 பாயிண்ட் சொன்னீங்க. அது டு டிசைட் அபவுட் டேக்கிங் ஆர் டிராப்பிங் ஆக்ஷன், to ascertain the grounds for allegation and charges, or altogether not baseless. Gather the facts and what was the fact, those involved and witnessed particulars, date and time, motive behind it, obtain factual written reports from complainant witness, and if delinquent gives in writing the two. It's a fact finding, not a quasi judicial inquiry. Quasi judicial என்ன சொன்னா internal inquiry இல்லாட்டி domestic inquiry அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டேன். நெக்ஸ்ட் வந்து டிராஃப்டிங் எக்ஸாம்பிள்ஸ்ல என்னன்னு சொல்லியிருந்தீங்கன்னா absenteeism, assault, disorderly behavior, willful damage. Yes sir. Strike. Strike or garrio.
Enquiry conduct பண்றதுக்கு என்னென்ன ஸ்டெப்ஸ்? Enquiry conduct பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி இதெல்லாம் பார்க்கணும். வேற யாராவது சொல்றீங்களா? Enquiry conduct பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு என்கொயரி போறீங்க, டொமஸ்டிக் என்கொயரி கண்டக்ட் பண்ண டிசைட் பண்றீங்க, எதெல்லாம் இருக்குன்னு பார்க்கணும். நீங்களே சொல்லுங்க. பிஃபோர் கோயிங் ஃபார் என்கொயரி என்னென்னலாம் பார்க்கணும்?
கலெக்டிங் டேட்டா சார்.
ஆமா.
அடிஷனல் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன், அப்பாயின்ட்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் சிஇஓ,
ஆமா,
டேட் அண்ட் டைம் இருக்கும் சார். அப்புறம் டிராஃப்டிங்.
ஓகே, குட். ஸோ ரெண்டு பேருமே நல்லா சொன்னீங்க. All the participants who are listening it, kindly clap for her. Let me hear it. இல்லையே, நல்லா இப்படி 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 கத்துங்க. வெரி குட். அண்ட் நான் வந்து அடுத்த கிளாஸ்க்கு முன்னாடி நீங்க ஒரு எல்லாருமே வந்து ஒரு இன்சிடென்ட் எடுத்து சார்ஜ் ஷீட்டு இல்லைன்னாக்கா ஷோகாஸ் நோட்டீஸு டிராஃப்ட் பண்ணி எனக்கு மெயிலையோ இல்லை வாட்ஸ்அப்லயோ நீங்க அனுப்பலாம்னு சொல்லியிருந்தேன். நான் வந்து அதாவது வாட்ஸ்அப் நம்ம கேடிஎம் அகாடமி குரூப்ல நீங்க தயவு செய்து எல்லாருமே அந்த எக்ஸசைஸை பண்ணுங்க. பிராக்டிக்கலா நீங்க செஞ்சு பார்த்தாதான், unless you practically draft a notice of inquiry or notice of charge sheet or showcase notice, you may not be able to understand. ஏன்னா நீங்க practical is very important. I can tell you so many examples, online examples and other things. It is very important that you must be participative. நீங்களா ஓனா செஞ்சு பார்க்கணும். ஒரு இமேஜினேஷன் பண்ணிட்டு இந்த இன்சிடென்ட் இதுக்கு எப்படி நான் டிராஃப்ட் பண்ணுவேன்னு. I thank you all for joining me and listening to me right from 10 to 11 o'clock, and for your good listening. We can listen in the next class some other points with regard to the domestic inquiry and all. Thank you for being with me till now. Thanks a lot to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you sir.
Thank you sir.
Thank you.
It is just a 2-line statement. என்ன இருக்கலாம்னா கம்ப்ளைனன்ட் இருக்கணும், செக்ஷன்ஸ், மிஸ்கண்டக்ட்ஸ் இதெல்லாம் வந்து மென்ஷன் பண்ண வேண்டாம் சஸ்பென்ஷன் லெட்டர்ல. அது வந்து 2 லைன் மட்டும் தான் இருக்கணும். அதுக்கப்புறம் பார்த்தோம்னா டாக்குமெண்ட்ஸ்லாம் நமக்கு பக்காவா இருக்கணும். சிசிடிவி, பயோமெட்ரிக் அட்டெண்டன்ஸ் இதெல்லாம் இருக்கணும் சார். அடுத்த அஜெண்டா என்ன பார்த்தோம்னா இன்னைக்கு இமிடியேட் சஸ்பென்ஷன், ஷோகாஸ், டைம் டு ரிப்ளை பை தி டெலின்குவன்ட் பார்த்தோம், டிராஃப்டிங் எக்ஸாம்பிள்ஸ் பார்த்தோம், என்கொயரி ப்ரொசீடிங்ஸ், வாட் ஆர் ஆல் த ப்ரிலிமினரி ஸ்டெப்ஸ் அது பார்த்தோம். இப்போ வந்து why preliminary inquiry necessary 8 பாயிண்ட் சொன்னீங்க. அது to decide about taking or dropping action, to ascertain the grounds for allegation and charges are altogether not baseless, gather the facts and what was the fact, those involved and witnessed particulars, date and time, motive behind it, obtain factual written reports from complainant witness, and if delinquent gives in writing the two. It's a fact finding, not a quasi judicial inquiry. Quasi judicial என்ன சொன்னா internal inquiry இல்லாட்டி domestic inquiry அப்படின்னு சொன்னீங்க. நெக்ஸ்ட் வந்து டிராஃப்டிங் எக்ஸாம்பிள்ஸ்ல என்னன்னு சொல்லியிருந்தீங்கன்னா absenteeism, assault, disorderly behavior, willful damage. Yes sir. Strike. Strike or garrio.
Enquiry conduct பண்றதுக்கு என்னென்ன ஸ்டெப்ஸ்? Enquiry conduct பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி இதெல்லாம் பார்க்கணும். வேற யாராவது சொல்றீங்களா? Enquiry conduct பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு என்கொயரி போறீங்க, டொமஸ்டிக் என்கொயரி கண்டக்ட் பண்ண டிசைட் பண்றீங்க, எதெல்லாம் இருக்குன்னு பார்க்கணும். நீங்களே சொல்லுங்க. பிஃபோர் கோயிங் ஃபார் என்கொயரி என்னென்னலாம் பார்க்கணும்?
கலெக்டிங் டேட்டா சார்.
ஆமா.
அடிஷனல் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன், அப்பாயின்ட்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் சிஇஓ,
ஆமா,
டேட் அண்ட் டைம் இருக்கும் சார். அப்புறம் டிராஃப்டிங்.
ஓகே, குட். ஸோ ரெண்டு பேருமே நல்லா சொன்னீங்க. All the participants who are listening it, kindly clap for her. Let me hear it. இல்லையே நல்லா இப்படி கத்துங்க. Very good. And நான் வந்து அடுத்த கிளாஸ்க்கு முன்னாடி நீங்க ஒரு எல்லாருமே வந்து ஒரு இன்சிடென்ட் எடுத்து சார்ஜ் ஷீட் இல்லைன்னாக்கா ஷோகாஸ் நோட்டீஸ் டிராஃப்ட் பண்ணி எனக்கு மெயிலையோ இல்லை வாட்ஸ்அப்லயோ நீங்க அனுப்பலாம்னு சொல்லியிருந்தேன். நான் வந்து அதாவது வாட்ஸ்அப் நம்ம கேடிஎம் அகாடமி குரூப்ல நீங்க தயவு செய்து எல்லாருமே அந்த எக்ஸசைஸை பண்ணுங்க. பிராக்டிக்கலா நீங்க செஞ்சு பார்த்தாதான், unless you practically draft a notice of inquiry or notice of charge sheet or Showcause notice, you may not be able to understand. ஏன்னா நீங்க practical is very important. I can tell you so many examples, online examples and other things. It is very important that you must be participative. நீங்களா ஓனா செஞ்சு பார்க்கணும். ஒரு இமேஜினேஷன் பண்ணிட்டு இந்த இன்சிடென்ட் இது எப்படி நான் டிராஃப்ட் பண்ணுவேன்னு. I thank you all for joining me and listening to me right from 11 o'clock, and for your good listening. We can listen in the next class some other points with regard to the domestic inquiry and all. Thank you for being with me till now. Thanks a lot to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.